Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, this is Saturday evening or Friday evening, the September 15th, 2017. I just heard about the ruling of the judge in St. Louis, and he says that the shooting was justified. Said that the police were in pursuit of a known drug dealer. He was an urban heroin dealer, and that the cop had reasonable suspicion that he would be carrying a gun. There's a problem. They didn't even know who the guy was. So, according to the judge, reasonable suspicion because of the guy's history and that he was a drug dealer, that he had a gun. The same cop who says that he is going to kill this guy when he catched him, when he caught up to him. And the judge says that that's not premeditated. But if you look at the judge's order, he actually brings in accusations that wasn't fact at the time of the shooting, such as known heroin dealer. According to the report, they didn't know who the fool was. But all of a sudden, the officer makes the claim that he is going to kill him. And that's not premeditated. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if I say on this video right now that I am going to kill the next person who comes to my door, and then 3 hours later, the police are here and they find a video saying that I said I was going to do that, I promise you they'd be getting me for premeditated murder. Guarantee you that would be the charge. But the case in St. Louis wasn't a jury trial, it was a judge trial. Who did that? You don't do a judge trial, you don't do a bench trial in a murder. Oh man, this is interesting, ain't it? This is the games they play. So I was watching Fox News, racist news, because that's what Fox is. I didn't believe that at first. I didn't get into that. I didn't watch Fox. But I'm sitting up here listening, and every single thing they talked about tonight dealt with race. And then they showed this, and they compared it to Ferguson. Then they compared Bush to Barack, saying how Barack said that when they killed the professor, how that was a grievous, that they shouldn't have done it. And then they're saying that the president shouldn't have made any comment at all. Now, then they asked a guy, this is unique, because they called a guy over because of the color of his skin. He wasn't black. They called him over, and he actually told them that it was a miscarriage of justice, that it was wrong, that the judge had ruled wrong. And they did everything in their power to try to take away from what the guy was saying, but he stood on his guns and even told him about how he was out there protesting, walking down the street, and an officer actually came up with his car and hit him, not hard, just enough to bump him out of the way, and then walked away and went and talked to the rest of his fellow officers. Now, of course, the officer did that because he was expecting something to jump off, because if something jumped off, ladies and gentlemen, then we would have another Ferguson. But what's going on right now doesn't make any sense. And there's nobody on this planet that can make sense out of what's going on in St. Louis. The fact that, I'm sorry, I'm getting ready to polish up my system, but I figured I would do this because we have another shooting of a person of color, and they're saying it's justified. Did you pay attention? They're saying that it's justified what happened to this particular individual, that the officer shooting him, he was justified in doing so. I don't know about the rest of you, because it bothers me greatly that every time you look up, they're claiming it's justified. And then they wonder why people are so upset. They wonder why people are protesting. They're not wondering about this. They expect people to protest. Ladies and gentlemen, the officer shot him 5 times. Because what you don't know is when they train police officers, they train them to aim for the largest center of mass, which is the chest. And if you look at their bullseye, it's where the heart is. That's what they aim for. But they're saying that this guy had a gun. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know whether or not he had a gun, but if he had a gun, his fingerprints would be on the weapon. You don't hear them saying nothing about the guy's fingerprints being on that gun. And then the officer shoots him with his personal handgun, which he had, according to them, laying on the backseat of his car. Ladies and gentlemen, this officer was chasing him in his police car. He had his personal handgun and his department issue with him. And yet he violates policy, and the judge says this is all okay. That's not a big deal. But I guarantee you that if it was someplace else, someone else, a different color, things wouldn't have happened the way it did. I'm sorry, I don't get involved in a race thing because I care less about race. You guys have heard me. I can care less about a person's skin color. But what happened over in St. Louis, I don't care if the guy is dealing drugs. All drug dealers don't carry guns, people. Do you know why most drug dealers don't carry guns? Because they don't want to get two charges. See, a gun charge, that's an automatic sentence. Drug charge, that's another sentence. But to get both of them at the same time, then you're looking at flat minimums. That it's a mandatory that you're going to do at least this. And if it's a loaded weapon, with the gun laws that they just passed, we're looking at as much as 10 years. That's why most of them don't carry guns. Yes, 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 there's an atmosphere, there's a culture, there is a normalcy, there is well, this is the way it usually is. But however, in this situation, let's let you guys stop looking at these screens. As a matter of fact, I can close you and I can close you. We can stop looking at these screens, let you guys see the backdrop for a moment. Let's get to the nit and grit of things. When was the last time you heard of a white officer shooting a white suspect to death? Just go ahead. When did it make the news? The national news. It doesn't. But we keep hearing about these white officers shooting black individuals, and it's all justified. You see, we want to forget about Michael Brown because we have been told that he's a big boy and that he tried to grab the officer's gun. Then if he was grabbing the officer's gun, how come the officer shot him when he was away from the vehicle? But he was lunging towards the officer. Isn't that their number one charge? How come we didn't see the video? The car had a video. We know that because they're required to have that. But all of a sudden the video isn't available. You'll find that happening a lot. That something happened with the audio, something happened with the tape, something happened with the recording. They'll keep doing that. But when it's important, when it proves what they say, something is wrong here in our society. No, I'm not suggesting that people go out there and protest. I'm suggesting that it's a quick indicator as to the times that we're living in. Okay? If it wasn't that they were shooting young black men, well, let's just say it the way it is, people. Young black men. We're not going to forget about the young man in New York where the officer, or was it Boston, where the officer put the guy in a chokehold and choked him to death? We can't forget about things like that. Then you got Trayvon Martin. Well, because he was blah, blah, blah. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what happened in each of these incidents. I don't know. But you know who I trust? I trust the God that I serve to correct it in his due time. But why did he correct it if he's God? Because he has made it quite clear to let everyone know that there is a justifiable reason why he's allowing this stupidity to happen. And he's already promised to correct it. Doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. Again, I told you, as true as life is, your belief don't matter to me. Okay? It doesn't matter whether you believe. It doesn't matter whether I believe or not. You see, the truth doesn't need someone to believe in it in order for it to be truth. The truth stands on its own feet. That's why I like truth. That's why I prefer truth over lies, fallacies, fantasies, ignorance, stupidity. Truth stands on its own feet. It does not need anyone to support it. When was the last time a truth needed to be supported? But you realize every lie has to have support. And a lie cannot be supported on one little leg. No, a lie has to be supported by support, by support, by support, by support, because every single moment there's always an adjustment to a lie, i.e., it needs support. The truth doesn't need support. So eventually, things are about to get a lot worse. That's why I can tell you what's about to happen, because it's already been prophesied that it's about to happen. And it's going to be horrible. And I'm so sorry for some of you that it's going to be horrible. But take a look. We keep hearing about these shootings, and here they do this without a jury? Sorry, it's a murder case. And the so called accuser who was dead had a right to a jury trial. But what did they do? They brought up evidence of his past. But there's a problem, ladies and gentlemen. His past had nothing to do with what occurred. The officer knew nothing about his past when he was pulling him over. Well, he tried to run us down. But there's no video of him trying to run the officers down. Pay attention to what they said. They said he tried to run the officers down. If he was trying to run them down, then how come they didn't shoot at the car? How come he didn't have bullet holes in him from them shooting at the car? He shot him 5 times when he was stopped. So how come he didn't shoot 5 times at that point? Talking about, well, it was a drug-related incident and we were going, then fine. How come we don't have any evidence of you shooting at that point since your life was in danger? Because that's what the officer was saying. That's what his claim was. He felt that his life was in jeopardy. So how come he didn't shoot at the car then? Of course not. This is what police officers say all the time, is that the person tried to run them over. Where's the video? Now, maybe there is video, maybe there isn't. I don't know. I just know I'm listening to Fox News, and I do know that they are really trying to make this out to look like the protesters are at fault. The protesters are getting rowdy. I loved it when he questioned the guy, because the guy says, there's been no violence over here. Well, there has been rock throwing. He says, there hasn't been no rock throwing over here. You're talking about someplace else. That didn't happen here. Well, yeah, you're right. It was over in such and such a place. But, well, that's what the officers are here to do. They're here to make sure there's no problem. Because the guy was saying the police are here and they're in riot gear and there's no riot. We're just here peacefully protesting. The guy says, well, there have been rock throwing, there's been violence. And he told him there has not been any rock throwing or violence here the entire day. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 12 a.m. That's what I was watching. It was happening now, not happening tomorrow or earlier this afternoon. I was watching the news and it was live. So they're out there at 12 at night and nobody's causing a problem. Then they said, the police are there to stop the people from going onto the freeway. Nobody was trying to get on the freeway, but that's what Fox was saying, that they were trying to get on the freeway. And they can't allow them on the freeway because that would stop commerce. Was eventually, quite literally, what they were saying. Nobody was trying to get on the freeway. Again, that's why I don't watch the news, because the news is slighted, especially Fox. CNN, Fox, MSNBC, they're all just as crooked. They all talk about each other, but they're all the same. Why? Because there are only two main media networks out there that owns everything. Clearwater being one of them. I'm sure you've all seen it. I'm sure you've all heard it before. This is not just my opinion. Look, we had that incident with Charles Oakley, where I pointed out something on video, put the video out there. Next thing you know, 3 days later, they're apologizing to him. I did that video on purpose, and I told all of you at the time that I put that video out there on purpose because I wanted it to get back to him, to let Mr. Oakley see that there were some things going on. This is what I do. I analyze everything. That's why I can't sleep, because my mind is constantly analyzing everything, every phone call, every word I say in a video. I just did the video showing you guys about the TDA account, showing you the proper way you should go about researching it and figuring out, because everybody keeps asking me, what's the step? How do they access? How do they get this? How do they get that? Ladies and gentlemen, I haven't tried any of it because I don't have the time to try it. I honestly don't have the time. I don't have any bills. I'm not trying to get rich. I don't have any bills. I don't have anything to pay off. I don't need the account. It's not going to do me any good. I don't use my credit. There are a bunch of other things I'm trying to do. SATCOM is my main focus right now. Well, serving my God is my main focus. He comes first. But SATCOM comes right next to that. And the staff at SATCOM can tell you that you all are my main focus. We are more concerned about treating all of you with respect and answering all of your emails and responding to all of you. But some of you are a little too demanding. You want a response immediately. SATCOM, on every email, they let you know that it's within 72 hours. We're not fully staffed yet. So it's within 72 hours. But we do make it our aim and our goal to get back with everyone. We've had a couple of people who, well, they've had some difficulties. And so they've been able to speak with me directly. You can't ask SATCOM to talk to me directly because it doesn't work like that. As I did on the video, I showed people how the grievance process works with SATCOM. We are set up the same as every other administrative agency. SATCOM is an administrative organization. We have policies in place. We are structured that way because, sorry, that is the only way you can run a successful business. We know this because this is proved to be the custom. This is proved to be what works. All the other forms have not worked. It's not going to be a dictatorship. We have groups, teams that handle things within SATCOM. Okay? Uh, Sometime tomorrow we'll be putting out a video, or sometime this weekend. Let's just say this weekend because I have no idea what is going to be going on this weekend. But we're going to put together a video. It's going to be up at SATCOM and on the EON YouTube channel and on the SATCOM YouTube channel, SATCOM 911 YouTube channel. And when we put those up, this is going to be to let all of you know what we're looking for in the qualifications. If you don't meet the qualifications, we will not consider you. Okay? I have to be honest with you about that. But let's get back to the St. Louis thing. I'm sorry the young man is no longer alive. What's more upsetting is that particular young man and Wilson, who killed Mr. Mike Brown, and we can say they murdered these two young men. We can say that it was murder because both individuals were unarmed. They say this individual had a gun. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, they say he had a gun. He gets out the car with a gun. I'm sorry. If the individual got out of the car, he's getting out to run. He's not getting out to shoot at anybody because he's got too many people shooting his way. And it's over drugs? People, they say it was a drug deal. Well, if it's over drugs and he got away, that means he doesn't have the drugs on him. Okay? And we all know, well, you guys haven't been in jail. You haven't been around people like this before, but the first thing they do, they're not trying to get killed. Well, he wasn't wanting to go back to jail because he was on probation. Yes, he was on probation, which means he's been to jail before, which means he knows the routine. So he's not going to sit up there and commit suicide by cop. And that's what they want everybody to believe. And that's what that ignorant judge, this was a judge trial because this is the way it was supposed to go. St. Louis, the police department couldn't have this blight on them that one of their officers were charged for the murder of someone else because that would have definitely been bad for the image and race relations. So that's why they figured they would handle it this way. And you notice they did this on a Friday. The number one rule is you don't do things like this on a Friday. You do it earlier in the week so that the police are prepared. But they did this on a Friday because traffic, people are not around. And the only advertisement it gets is the news. And so there's no commerce because it's the weekend. Okay? This is what they were doing. And nobody watches the news on Saturday and Sunday. So if anything jumps off this weekend, nobody's going to be watching it because nobody watches the news on Saturday and Sunday, people. I watch the news. I'm not talking about you, am I? Are you nobody? Then shut up. Sorry, everybody has an opinion and they want to voice their opinion. I got people watching my videos and want to give me their opinion. I don't want your opinion, people. I didn't ask for it. Seriously, go watch the videos. I'm not asking for anybody's opinion. My videos, we talk about fact. We don't talk about fallacy or fantasy. So I'm not leaving things open for a debate because you're here at this site. You can think I'm cocky, you can think I'm arrogant, you think I'm conceited, you can think whatever you want. But you're here at this site because of what I know. You're here at this site because you know when I speak, I tell you truth, but I also support my truth with fact. That's why you're here. You're not here because you love me. You're not here because you just can't live without me. This is not a marriage. So some of you who get offended, either because of the singing or the antics, I just don't give a. I mean, literally, I don't. I don't care. I'm not here to cater to your needs. Your selfish, individual, self-centered, self-concerned, self-righteous, I'm better than everybody else needs. I don't give about your needs. You are not my audience. And I'm going to tell it to you like a TIZ, people. Those of you who don't appreciate me, those of you who don't appreciate the information, those of you who don't appreciate the site, don't come back. Leave. You don't have to sit here and listen. But those of you who do appreciate it, for the time being, as long as I have the energy and the means for doing it, I will keep informing you. I will keep giving you the details that you need in order to complete your processes. But hold on. Again, I'm not here to do that. I just says that that's what I'm going to do. So don't expect it. I'm not obligated to do it for you. I'm not going to answer your questions because I provide you the means for which to start doing your research. Well, I've already done research and it's just so difficult. And then I'm telling you how to do it on the basic level. For instance, I got people who are constantly emailing me. No, well, constantly, but they're not, it's not like 18,000 a week or anything like that. It's maybe 3 or 4 a month who are telling me that they went to the SATCOM 911 website under the documents section and found everything they were looking for and more. Ladies and gentlemen, what I can assure you, and I can promise you, that if you've got a problem, and this is what you guys, it amazes me that you haven't even bothered to try. Many of you are calling me about problems with jail and problems with people getting arrested and problems with lawsuit and people filing suits against you. And we put all of that information, all of your remedies on satcom911.com on the document section. You can find everything you need there, but you all want to call me because you want to hear me give you your specific answer to your specific question because that'll make you feel better. Well, I got 2 fingers, one on each hand, and if I take off my shoes, I'll give you 2 more that will tell you what you can sit and spin on and what you can do with yourself. As I told you, I am not here to cater to your needs, to be politically correct, to worry about hurting your feelings because I know you're so sensitive. I don't care. I'm not doing this for you. And like I said, some of you are not going to appreciate this because I'm telling it to you the way it is, not the way you want it to be. Again, this is my show. You don't have to be a star, baby, no, to be in my show. This is my show. I am the HNIC. It really is just that simple. That's why I created the site. You didn't. You didn't develop the site. You didn't create the videos. I did. This is my show. I am the head dog. Arf! Okay, that's me. So once again, to conclude this video, ladies and gentlemen, that situation in St. Louis, something definitely isn't right. You don't have to comment. You don't have to send me no emails. You don't have to send me no text messages. I'm just telling you something isn't right based upon what I heard in a news report. And the fact that it was done by a single judge and not a jury. Ladies and gentlemen, cop killings don't go to a judge. They go to a jury. They were indicting this officer and prosecuting this officer. That doesn't go to a judge. That goes to a jury. So why did the judge make a decision that it wasn't premeditated when the officer can be heard to say on the police official recording that he was going to kill the guy when he caught up to him? Sounds like premeditation to me. As a matter of fact, in law, that's irrefutable evidence of premeditation. That's up to a jury to decide that. It's not for a judge to decide. Judges cannot be the jury. Go ahead. The Constitution doesn't recognize a so-called bench trial. That's how you know it's administrative. That's how you know that somebody paid the judge. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and ladies, that's the end of this particular video. That's about 3 or 4 videos today. I'm tired. So that's enough. No more videos today. No more videos this weekend, I hope. I'll speak to all of you later. I hope you have a Coke and a smile and all that other good stuff. And I'm out.